In a world constantly buzzing with noise, movement, and fleeting connections, what does it truly mean to be missed? How do you cultivate a presence so profound that your absence is not just noticed, but deeply felt? The ancient Stoics, masters of emotional control and philosophical introspection, understood the delicate balance between presence and absence. They taught that to be missed, to linger in the thoughts and hearts of others, was not about playing games or manipulating emotions. It was about cultivating an inner strength, a life so rich and meaningful that when you're not there, the void is undeniable. Absence creates a unique space, an echo that can be more powerful than constant presence. It allows others to feel your impact, to recognize your value, and to reflect on the importance of your connection. The art of letting others miss you is subtle, deliberate, and deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. It's about mastering yourself, cultivating a life worth missing, and understanding the power of silence and stillness. Today, we'll explore 10 powerful ways to let them miss you, diving into the wisdom of the Stoics to uncover timeless truths about human connection, emotional resilience, and purposeful living. As you journey with us, you'll discover that letting someone miss you isn't about pulling away. It's about creating a life, a presence, and a purpose so profound that your absence is felt at the deepest level. Way 1. The paradox of presence and absence. Let's begin by unraveling the paradox of presence and absence, a concept that echoes through both ancient philosophy and modern psychology. The Stoics understood that life itself is a balance of opposites: joy and sorrow, strength and vulnerability, presence and absence. To be deeply missed, you must first understand that your constant presence can sometimes diminish your impact. Imagine a fire that burns continuously. At first, it provides warmth, light, and comfort. But as time passes, the heat becomes something expected, something ordinary. It no longer draws attention. It no longer inspires awe. Now imagine that same fire, but with moments of darkness, times when it dims and flickers. When the light returns, it's appreciated anew. The warmth feels different, more precious. This is the paradox of presence and absence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus often emphasized that attachment, whether to people or things, leads to suffering. To be constantly attached, constantly present, is to lose the value of your presence. Absence, when practiced with intention, allows for a rekindling of appreciation. Consider a relationship where one person is always available, always present, always there to meet every need. At first, this constant presence feels reassuring, but over time, it becomes expected, and eventually, it's taken for granted. The fire dims. Now imagine that same relationship, but with moments of absence, times when one person steps back, not in neglect, but with purpose. In that absence, the other begins to reflect on the value of the connection. They begin to miss what they once took for granted. This is the balance that the Stoics spoke of. It's about understanding that too much presence can weaken your impact, while purposeful absence can reignite appreciation. It's not about creating distance for the sake of it. It's about knowing when to step back so that your presence remains something to be cherished, not just expected. So, how do you apply this in your life? Start by being mindful of your presence. Are you always there, always available, always present in the lives of those around you? If so, consider pulling back, not out of neglect, but out of a deep understanding of human nature. Give others the space to reflect on your value. Allow for moments of absence so that your presence remains powerful and impactful. Epictetus reminds us that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In the same way, your presence doesn't need to be constant to be valuable. Let your absence create a desire, a want, in those around you. And when you return, your presence will be more meaningful than ever before. Way 2. Cultivate a life worth missing. Imagine a person who has cultivated a life so rich, so meaningful, that even when they're not around, their presence lingers in the air. Their absence isn't just noticed, it's deeply felt. This is the power of living a life worth missing, a concept rooted in the Stoic pursuit of virtue and purpose. Seneca, another profound Stoic thinker, taught that the greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. He believed that true fulfillment comes not from external validation, but from living a life aligned with our deepest values. When you live this way, you become someone who others miss, not because of what you do for them, but because of who you are. Think about it. Who do you miss most when they're not around? It's often the people who live with passion, who pursue their goals with vigor, who contribute to the world in meaningful ways. These are the people who inspire us, who challenge us to be better, who bring something unique and valuable to our lives. When they're absent, their presence is missed because their life has an impact that goes beyond their physical presence. To cultivate a life worth missing, start by focusing on your own growth, your own purpose. What drives you? What makes you feel alive? What contributions do you want to make to the world? When you live a life that is rich in purpose and meaning, others will naturally be drawn to you. They'll miss you when you're not around because your life is a source of inspiration and fulfillment. This isn't about being selfish or distant. It's about understanding that the more you invest in yourself, the more valuable you become to those around you. When you live a life of purpose, you don't need to constantly be present for others to miss you. Your absence will be felt because your presence adds so much value. Seneca also taught that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Use your time wisely. Cultivate your passions, pursue your goals, and live a life that is truly fulfilling. When you do, your presence will become something worth missing. Way 3. The power of unspoken words. In a world overflowing with words, noise, and constant communication, the value of silence is often forgotten. Yet the Stoics understood that silence, when used intentionally, can be more powerful than words. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, emphasized the importance of speaking only when necessary and valuing inner reflection over constant outward expression. When it comes to letting others miss you, the power of unspoken words cannot be underestimated. Not every thought needs to be shared. Not every feeling needs to be vocalized. Sometimes, silence can say more than words ever could. Think about the last time someone left you with an unfinished conversation, an unspoken thought, or a lingering feeling that wasn't fully explained. Those moments often stay with us far longer than any spoken words. They create a space for reflection, for wonder, and for longing. The Stoics taught that we should control what we can, our thoughts, our actions, and our words. By choosing silence deliberately, by holding back from oversharing, you create a sense of mystery and depth. You give others something to think about, something to reflect on. In that space of unspoken words, they begin to miss you. This doesn't mean you should be distant or uncommunicative. It means understanding the power of restraint. Sometimes what is left unsaid can have a far greater impact than anything spoken aloud. When you hold back, when you allow for moments of silence, you create a space where others can reflect on your presence in their lives. This is not about being manipulative or withholding for the sake of creating distance. It's about recognizing the value of silence, the power of unspoken words, and the importance of giving others the space to reflect on your presence. When you do this, they will miss you, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't say. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. By choosing your words carefully and allowing for moments of silence, you create a presence that lingers in the minds of others. They will miss you, not for your constant chatter, but for the depth of your silence and the power of your unspoken words. Way 4. Detachment as strength, not indifference. Detachment is often misunderstood in relationships. It's seen as cold, distant, or uncaring. But the Stoics viewed detachment as a form of strength, not indifference, but emotional mastery. It's about understanding what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. This detachment allows you to maintain your sense of self, even in the midst of deep connections with others. Epictetus often reminded his followers that attachment to anything, whether it be people, objects, or outcomes, can lead to suffering. Detachment, in the Stoic sense, isn't about avoiding connection. It's about maintaining your inner stability, no matter what happens outside of you. When it comes to letting others miss you, practicing detachment allows you to step back without fear. It's not about withdrawing or playing hard to get. It's about understanding that your presence is valuable, but it doesn't need to be constant. Detachment gives you the freedom to step away, knowing that your absence will be felt, but that it doesn't define your worth. Think about someone you know who is emotionally stable, who doesn't react to every minor upset, who remains calm and centered no matter what's happening around them. When they're not around, their absence is felt deeply, not because they're constantly present, but because their emotional strength is something that others rely on. By practicing detachment, you create a sense of emotional resilience. You're not constantly seeking validation or approval from others, and this strength becomes something that others admire and miss when you're not around. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By mastering detachment, you become someone whose absence is felt, not because you're always there, but because your emotional stability is something that others miss when it's not present. You become a rock in a world of shifting sands, and when you're not around, that stability is deeply missed. Way 5. Leave them with something to reflect on. The Stoics believed in the power of reflection. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the importance of self-examination, of looking inward to understand one's own thoughts and actions. This practice of reflection is something that you can bring into your relationships, leaving others with something to think about even when you're not there. When you engage with others in a way that challenges them, that makes them think, that leaves them with new ideas or perspectives, you create a presence that lingers long after you've left the room. This is the power of intellectual and emotional stimulation. When you're not just a passive presence, but someone who actively engages with others in meaningful ways, your absence becomes more than just a physical space. It becomes a mental and emotional one as well. Think about the people in your life who leave you with new ideas to ponder, new ways of thinking about the world. These are the people you miss, not just because of their physical presence, but because of the impact they have on your mind and heart. They challenge you, they inspire you, and when they're not around, you feel the absence of that intellectual and emotional stimulation. To let others miss you, leave them with something to reflect on. Engage in conversations that matter, share ideas that provoke thought. Be someone who doesn't just fill space, but who adds value to the lives of those around you. When you do, your absence will be felt because you've left a lasting impact on their minds and hearts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By engaging others in meaningful ways, by leaving them with something to reflect on, you create a presence that goes beyond the physical. Your absence is missed because your presence made a difference, and that difference lingers long after you're gone. Way 6. Become a master of mystery. Mystery has a powerful allure. It draws people in, sparks their curiosity, and keeps them coming back for more. The Stoics understood the value of not revealing everything about oneself, of maintaining an air of mystery that keeps others intrigued. This isn't about being secretive or deceptive. It's about understanding that not everything needs to be shared, and that sometimes less is more. In a world where oversharing has become the norm, being someone who maintains a sense of mystery can be incredibly attractive. It makes you stand out from the crowd. When you don't reveal everything about yourself, you create a sense of intrigue, a desire to know more. And when you're not around, that mystery becomes something that others miss. Think about the people in your life who don't lay all their cards on the table, who keep you guessing, who have a depth to them that isn't easily understood. These are the people who captivate your attention, who make you want to know more. And when they're not around, their absence is felt because that mystery remains unsolved. The Stoics taught that we should focus on what is essential and let go of what is not. In the same way, becoming a master of mystery means revealing only what is necessary and keeping the rest for yourself. This doesn't mean being distant or aloof. It means understanding that there is value in not revealing everything and allowing others to wonder about you. When you cultivate mystery, you become someone who others think about long after you've left the room. Your absence is felt, not just because of who you are, but because of what you didn't reveal. This creates a sense of longing, a desire to know more, and in that desire, others will miss you. Way 7. Practice intentional absence. Intentional absence is not about disappearing or withdrawing without purpose. It's about choosing specific moments to step back, allowing others the space to appreciate your presence. The Stoics believed in living with intention in every action, and practicing intentional absence is a way to create space for reflection and appreciation in your relationships. Think about the times in your life when someone you care about has been absent for a while. In that absence, you've likely reflected on what they mean to you, on the value they bring to your life. When they return, you appreciate them more because their absence allowed you to recognize their importance. Intentional absence is about creating these moments of reflection. It's about stepping back, not out of neglect, but out of a deep understanding of human nature. When you're always present, always available, your presence can become something that's taken for granted. But when you step back intentionally, you allow others the space to miss you, to reflect on your value. The Stoic philosopher Seneca taught that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. By practicing intentional absence, you create a new beginning, a moment for others to appreciate your presence anew. It's not about pulling away for the sake of it. It's about understanding the natural rhythm of relationships and using that rhythm to create deeper connections. This practice requires emotional strength and self-awareness. It's not about playing games, but about recognizing the power of absence in deepening connections. When you practice intentional absence, you allow others the space to reflect on your presence, and in that reflection, they begin to miss you in a way that strengthens your bond. Way 8. Cultivate inner stillness. Inner stillness is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of finding peace within, regardless of the chaos happening outside. This inner stillness is something that others will notice, and when you're not around, they'll miss the calm and stability that you bring to their lives. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and constant movement, those who cultivate inner stillness stand out. They become a source of tranquility, a calming presence in the storm. When you practice inner stillness, you become someone who others rely on for peace and stability. And when you're not there, that absence is deeply felt. To cultivate inner stillness, the Stoics practiced meditation, mindfulness, and reflection. They understood that true peace comes from within, and that no external circumstance could shake that inner calm. When you cultivate this stillness, you become someone who others miss because your presence brings a sense of peace and stability to their lives. Think about the people in your life who are unshaken by life's challenges, who remain calm and centered no matter what is happening around them. These are the people who bring a sense of peace to those around them. When they're not there, their absence is felt because their inner stillness was something that others relied on. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. By cultivating inner stillness, you become someone whose presence brings peace, and when you're not around, that peace is missed deeply. Your absence becomes a reminder of the calm and stability that you bring to the world. Way 9. Master the art of presence. The art of presence is about more than just being physically there. It's about making your presence meaningful when you are there. The Stoics believed in living with intention in every moment, in being fully present in each interaction. When you master this art, your presence leaves a lasting impact, and when you're not around, people miss the depth of your engagement. Think about the people in your life who make you feel truly seen and heard, who give you their full attention when they're with you. These are the people who are fully present, who engage deeply in each moment. When they're not around, their absence is felt because their presence was so meaningful. To master the art of presence, you must be intentional about how you engage with others. It's not about being physically there all the time. It's about making the time you are there count. Listen deeply, engage fully, and be mindful of your interactions. When you're truly present, even in brief moments, you leave a lasting impression. And when you're not there, people will miss the connection that your presence created. This is not about quantity, but about quality. It's about understanding that true connection comes from being fully present in the moment, from engaging with others in a way that makes them feel valued and heard. When you master this art, your presence becomes something valuable, something that others will miss when you're not there. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you practice presence, you leave a lasting impact on those around you. Your presence becomes something that others value deeply, and when you're not there, that absence is felt because your presence was meaningful. Way 10. Live with purpose and intention. Finally, the most powerful way to let them miss you is to live with purpose and intention. The Stoics believed that a life without purpose was a life wasted. When you live with purpose, you become someone whose presence is valued, whose absence is deeply felt because you bring meaning and intention to everything you do. Think about the people in your life who live with passion and purpose, who are driven by something greater than themselves. These are the people who inspire us, who challenge us to be better, who bring a sense of meaning to the world. When they're not around, their absence is felt because their presence was a source of inspiration and purpose. To live with purpose and intention, the Stoics taught that we must align our actions with our values. We must live in a way that reflects our deepest beliefs, that brings meaning to our lives and to the lives of those around us. When you live this way, your presence becomes something valuable, something that others miss when you're not there. Seneca reminds us that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. By living with purpose and intention, you create a life that is worth missing. Your presence becomes something that others value, and when you're not there, that absence is felt deeply. Living with purpose and intention is the key to creating a life that others miss. It's about understanding that your presence is valuable, that your life has meaning, and that your absence will be felt when you live in alignment with your deepest values. Conclusion: to be missed, to create a presence that lingers even in your absence, is about more than just pulling away or creating distance. It's about living with intention, cultivating inner strength, and mastering the art of presence and absence. The Stoics understood that true connection comes not from constant attachment, but from living a life that is rich, meaningful, and aligned with your deepest values. By practicing these 10 ways, you can create a presence that is deeply felt, even when you're not there. You can become someone whose absence is noticed, whose presence is valued, and whose impact lingers long after you've left the room. This is the art of letting them miss you, a powerful way to create deeper connections, more meaningful relationships, and a life that is truly worth living.